All right. So welcome to today's training. And it looks like we have about 50 people on, which is great. Thank you for joining this afternoon workshop. And I'm Nicole Harris. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the program director and trainer for AR Children Food Program. Today I have Nathan here is joining me, which is my husband, and he is our new tech coordinator. And then I also have Spring, and Spring is my office assistant, and she is helping me to make sure that y'all all get the credit that you need for this training. And at the end of the training, there will be a training checklist that I will need you to email back to me. And with that email, I would need you to put your name, the name of your center, and your PDR number. I know some of you have already emailed that to us, and I thank you very much, because without the PDR number, I cannot give you the PDR credits.
We've got 2 people wanting to sign on and they don't know how to do it.
Okay.
The email.
They click on the Zoom link within their email.
Well, she said that there's not only
Okay, for those that are having trouble, I'm sending reinforcements. For any of y'all that are new, I wanted to make sure that you know who we are. We are AR Children. We're here to serve you. Here's our Christmas card from last year, going from left to right. That's Melissa, and then Amy, and that's me, Nicole, holding the dog. That's Beamer. He's our office dog. My dad got Beamer for us last year before he passed. Then that's my mom, Marie Archer, and then beside my mom is Mona. And then since Christmas, Nathan has come on part-time to help us as his tech coordinator and help me with all this great technology. And then Miss Spring is here to support me and just help to be my assistant. And she's just wonderful, and we're so thankful to have her here. Let's see. So it's kind of slow, like going from slide to slide. Okay. So the Zoom function. So last year was our first time to use the Zoom webinar. It should work the same way. You will notice that the audio and video functions have been disabled for this training. So none of you can talk, and I cannot see you, and no one else can see you. So that you keep that. That's a good that's a good thing, right? So if you're new to Zoom or haven't attended a Zoom webinar before, please note that there's both a Q&A function and a chat function on here. And we'll be using the chat box throughout the training. If you have anything that you'd like to say, will you open up the chat function so that Spring can see that one, please? And then also we have the Q&A. So if you have any open Q&A questions, go ahead and put those in and we'll try to answer those throughout the presentation if I can. If I'm not able to answer them, Spring's taking notes so that we can follow up with you individually after the webinar today. Okay. So the chat box is very nice because everyone can see that. So if you'd like to share, if I ask questions and you would like to share with the community and other people that are attending the workshop, that's where you'll want to do that, okay? I will be launching some poll questions throughout just to get y'all to participate during this webinar, and you'll be able to choose like multiple choice answers with that poll function. Participation is highly encouraged. All of this training material will be available virtually at the end of the training. We are going to take this training and upload it to our YouTube channel so that you will be able to go there and watch it. If you have any other employees that you would like to watch this training, they will be able to watch that there. Okay, and then the post-webinar checklist is very important. I have to receive at least one checklist per center to be in compliance with our program. Okay, you're required to get that 2 hours of training every year, and those checklists will go into your file to show the state that you have been trained and that you understand all of the my words today. That you understand all the policies and procedures and all the things that are to participate in CACFP with us as your sponsor. Okay. And you can go to the next one. Wait, that doesn't work. How do I do it on the next one? Okay. Here is the copy of what the training checklist looks like. You will put your name, has completed 2 hours of required annual training to continually participate in CACFP. I understand the requirements and procedures to participate under the sponsorship of AR Children. And these are all those key things that we're required to go over every year. And what I want you to be able to do is check yes, that you understand, that you don't have questions about all of these things. You're going to sign it and date it. Please print your name underneath it, the name of the center that you represent, and your PDR number, okay? If you're coming from a center that has several different locations, if you will put the name of the center and then the location of the center, that would be much helpful, so we'll know which file to put yours in, okay? And if there's anything on this training checklist that you do have questions about, please ask, okay? Email me, Nicole at ar-children.com. You can email questions, you can call and ask questions, you can ask on the Q&A function on here. But we just want to make sure that all of your questions are answered and that you're able to check yes on everything on the training checklist before we put that in your file that you've been trained for this year. Was there another question?
Someone asked if they needed to sign in with their PDR. No.
No, you don't have to sign in with your PDR number. Just make sure that we have your PDR number. Is she one that you have? Do you know?
Yeah, I've got her.
You've got you down. Okay, so you're good to go. So if I answered it live, I think if I click that, it'll go away, right? Yeah. We can't understand you. I'm so sorry. I hope that it's not the internet. You know, the weather is pretty bad today. Right now, our internet is working well here at the office, and this is being recorded. So hopefully, if you're having trouble, I would encourage you to continue to try to get on, but it is going to be recorded and uploaded to the YouTube channel that you can watch later. Nathan, will you come and double check and make sure that it's being recorded? Because I don't see a red button that says recording. It doesn't say it says my screen's being shared, but is it being recording? Oh, is that what that means right here? Okay, I just want to double check because I want to make sure that we can upload this to the YouTube channel afterwards. Okay. Any other questions or concerns before we get started? Okay, I'm gonna. I'm just trying to make these go away. Okay, Alexis, I can see your name, so you are good to go. I have a new email. So who do I send my new email? Oh, send it to me. Ms. Smith, Latoya Smith. It is Nicole at ar-children.com. And you can also share that with centers at ar-children.com. You cannot hear anything. I'm not sure. Hopefully, I mean, it might be your internet connection. Hopefully it will get better. If it doesn't, like I said, I'm recording this and we'll upload it to the YouTube that you can view later.
If they have other apps or things open on your
yes, if you're on your phone or you're on a device, if you can go ahead and close everything out except for recording in progress, except for this Zoom. That way. That's the only thing that's running on your device. And hopefully that might help as well. Make sure. Amber, I can see that you're here and you're asking for our Gmail. That would be great. Auto says at the bottom of the screen and turn the speaker up. Okay, I couldn't hear it first, but I went to the audio setting at the bottom of the screen and turned the speaker up. So that is might be helpful for anyone else that's having trouble hearing me. And make sure that you have turned your audio on, that you can hear me. Like I said, I can't hear you unless I give you permission. And right now I'm the only one that has permission to speak. So I'm the only one that everyone should be able to hear. I don't see ABC Learning Academy, but Miss Denise Patrick, I can see your name, and I think we do have you on the list. So you are good to go. Thank you for all of these questions. Remember, if it's something that you would like to share with everyone, feel free to use that chat function. And then as we go through, if you have any other questions, you can use that Q&A function, and also you can raise your hands and lower your hands, okay? All right, so we're gonna go ahead, because I know that your time is valuable. We're gonna go ahead and get started. I do see that there's some hands raised. If you've raised your hand and if you have a question, okay, some of them are telling their names and their PDR numbers. Spring, do you see these?
Yes.
Okay.
We're good.
You're good. All right. Chat is disabled. Oh, well, that's not good. Let me see. How do I make sure the chat is not disabled? I thought it always worked. How do I get my mouse over here? Okay. It looks like it's working on mine. Can somebody try to just say hello in the chat function just to see if it's working? Just say hi, I'm here, or something like that. I'll put welcome.
It does say chat.
Okay.
It doesn't. Click on that.
Right here. Oh,
Everyone.
attendees can chat with everyone. And then what did that
Oh,
say?
no, go back.
Is
Attendees can chat with hosts and families.
hello, yay, yay. Okay, thank you. Whoever brought that to my attention, the anonymous attendee. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
And then there's one more question. If you have multiple staff people, yes, we need to have the names of everybody and their names.
I need their names and their PDR numbers if they want PDR credit. If they're just doing this for you and you're giving them credit as their director, then no. But if they want the PDR credit, I have to have the PDR number and make sure those numbers are correct. Because unfortunately, when I log into the PDR, I can't look up who you are. I can't look up your center. I can't look up your name. The only thing I can do is enter your PDR number, and whatever number you give me, then that's the number you'll get credit under. So just make sure that you're sharing correct PDR numbers, and we will try to get those all jotted down. If you can also, when you send your training checklist, put that at the bottom, and we'll have it there as well. So we'll have it multiple locations to make sure that you all get credit. And next week I'll be giving you all PDR credit. So by the end of next week, you should be able to log into your own PDR and make sure that the credit was given. And I encourage everyone to check within a month, because after a month, the PDR people don't like for me to get back into it. I have to get special permission to get back in to give people credit. So I have a month to give you credit from today. So I do encourage you all to check your own PDR records to make sure that that you have that credit. Okay, good. All right, what else is to say?
Well, they're submitting their PDR numbers now, but they don't really have to do it on the chat, but yeah.
Can you put my hand down? Yes, I can put your hand down. We're going to lower all the hands. And it's probably better that if you do have a question, instead of raising your hand, just go to the Q&A function and ask your questions. And I think that we've got the chat, it's not disabled anymore. So it should be, yeah, that was a few minutes ago. So those should be working. Jerry, I can see your message. Cheryl, we got you. I can see you. Rayanne. Anonymous at 10. Okay. You are on. Miss Amber with Little Lambs, you are on. We can see you. It just, your name says anonymous attendee, but now we know who you are. Okay. All right. Are we good? Can I go on? Okay. That is why I scheduled this for 2.5 hours instead of 2 hours, is to make sure that we were able to get everyone on that needed to get on and answer questions and things with this, all this crazy technology. So let's go to our next slide. This is our agenda for today. This is kind of just a summary that we were going to go over all the requirement trainings. I'm going to hit on Farm to CACFP, but after we met as a staff and worked through what we wanted to focus on during this training, we decided that the Farm to CACFP was not the most important thing. So what I'm going to do is introduce it, and then I'm going to make like a 30-minute YouTube video that I will upload to my YouTube channel. So if you have more questions and concerns about Farm to CACFP and you want to know more about it, I will be making that for you. We need to spend more time going over the required documents. We need to go over the updates for CACFP. We need to do civil rights, menu planning, and then I have Nathan here that's going to do a lot of tech talk with you about using your computer and using the Excel workbooks that Amy created a long time ago. We want to encourage y'all all to use that. And Nathan is going to go step by step with that through that with you. And then we also want to talk about how you can be more prepared for a review if the state or the feds are going to come out to do a review. Okay, this is a copy of the agenda, and you should have received this within your email. This has all of our objectives and all the things that we want to talk about in this training. Okay, so our objectives. After completing this training, our goal is that providers will understand the requirements to participate in the CACFP program with us here at AR Children. Providers will recall 3 core components of Farm to CACFP and will identify one. So on this one, I'm going to introduce those core components, but I probably won't get much into the activities. It depends on how our time is going. And that will be in that 30-minute extra training that you can do at a later time at your convenience. And then the main thing we want to hit on is providers will have the tools to understand the basics of using Excel workbooks to complete required daily documentation. We want to be able to use the computer to make our jobs easier for you as a center and for us as a sponsor. And that way we have all the required things done to show the state and to show the federal government. Okay, so for today's required training, we're going to play a little game called 2 truths and 1 lie. So there's 2 that are true and 1 that is false. You will see 3 statements that come up on the slide, and you will see an A, B, or C above each statement. You're going to decide which one you think is the lie or which one that is false. And to put the corresponding letter, I'm going to launch a poll, and then you will choose either 1, 2, or 3. I should have named them A, B, or C, but the A, B, or C will correspond with the 1, 2, and 3. I apologize for that. Okay, and then if you have an idea of how that statement can be changed to make it true, so that way all the statements are true, please let us know in the chat function where everyone can see that. Okay. Okay. And as a reminder, these are not being graded. We're just practicing and we're helping one another, and we're trying to make this as interactive as possible. It's very weird sitting here staring at not 1, but 3 computer screens and not having real people here to interact with. So this is still very strange for me, as well as I know for some of you. So I wanted to try to make it as interactive as possible. All right, so let's go with our first question. So the first example is about milk. So which one is Not true. So A, children ages 12 to 23 months of age must be offered whole milk. B, flavored milk is credible for any children of any age. And C, milk is not required component at snack under the child menu pattern. So I'm going to launch a poll. If I can get the mouse there. Launch. So you should be able to see 3 choices. So click on 1, 2, or 3. Cool. So I can see that y'all are answering, yay! So keep going. I got 35% of you have answered. So I'll give y'all a minute before I tell you the correct answer. So is there like a slow between that, like me telling them and that being able to?
Yeah, because you're going to Zoom and Zoom's going to them. So it's probably about a second and a half.
Second half.
2 seconds.
Oh, awesome. Look at that. 44 of you have answered. Give you another second or two. Looks like a lot of you are on the right track. If you're having any trouble, let us know in the Q&A, but you should be able to see a poll up on your screen or on your device. Nathan has his phone open and it showed it right on his phone. So you just choose 1, 2, or 3. Is there another? Oh, when I was doing this on my computer, I could make these go away. But there we go. Okay, I'll give you another second. About 77% of you have answered. And I know if some of you are just using your phones and using the audio, you may not be able to see this. So we'll go ahead and exit that poll. And we'll go to, it looks like the majority of you were correct. The correct answer is B, flavored milk is credible for children of any age. So did anyone tell us in the chat function, how could we make that correct? That looks so cute. Okay.
6.5. Someone said 6.5.
That's correct. Thank you. Flavored milk is only credible for school-age children, which means ages 6 and up. Very good. So I'm going to show you I can get my mouse back over here. There we go. This is the serving milk in the CACFP USDA memo, and it goes over the milk. So remember that newborns through 11 months of age need to be on breast milk or iron fortified infant formula. 12 to 23 months need to be on unflavored whole milk. Once they reach their 2nd birthday up to their actually 6th birthday, they need to be on unflavored fat-free skim milk or unflavored low fat, which is 1% milk. Once they are 6 years of age, 6 through 12, that's when they can have flavored fat-free milk and flavored low-fat milk. So that would be good, you know, for if you do before school breakfast for school-aged kids, you could provide a chocolate milk, or for after school. But I would encourage you only if your school-aged children are completely separated from your preschoolers, because you know you don't want to be serving in the same room. You don't want to be serving your 4 and 5-year-olds regular milk and your 6 and up flavored milk, because they're going to be like, why don't I get the chocolate milk? You know, so you want to be real careful about when you do serve the flavored milk that they're separated from the younger children. Okay, good job. All right, next one. We are going to look at the next one. It says needs to be posted. So 2 of these are true and 1 of them is false. Justice for all poster and a non-discrimination statement must be posted in child care centers. B, weekly or monthly menus must be posted. Or C, nothing has to be posted in a child care center. So I'm going to redo this poll. If I can get my mouse over there. Relaunch poll. I didn't relaunch anything.
Relaunch.
I did that. I did that. And it didn't clear. I don't want to share the results. I want to just relaunch my poll.
I know this is first for me.
I know.
That's what it is.
Then I have to go back over here to my poll. It didn't.
It's still got the same data.
Yeah. Well, we'll share it. Stop sharing. Relaunch poll. It worked last time I did this. Let's create. Oh, no, I don't want to create. Okay, in the chat function, just put A, B, or C. We'll just do that for right now. A, B, or C. You can just put that in the chat function. Thank you. Look at all those. Good job. Oh, no. What is this? Okay, there we go. All right. Good job, everybody. It looks like the majority of you have got that correct. Some of you are saying what's true and saying that it's A and B, and some of you are saying C is the false one. So tell us which one is false, which one is a lie, and it would be C. You're correct. So C, nothing has to be posted in your child care center. So y'all are all on the right track. So what does need to be posted? The first thing that needs to be posted is your Justice for All poster. This must be posted in all CACFP programs. It needs to be posted where when anyone walks into the center that they can see that. They have come out with a new Justice for All poster from the feds, but unfortunately, we have not received the posters yet. The state has assured us that they will get these to us as soon as they've been printed. When we do receive these posters, I will be giving them to Amy to distribute to your next review. So for right now, just use the Justice for All poster that you have currently. Make sure that that's hanging on your parent board or somewhere when the parents walk in that they can see that. And once you receive the new poster, I would just ask that you switch those out. Okay, so what has changed is our non-discrimination statement. So this statement is on that Justice for All poster. But you also, the state requires that you have a non-discrimination statement posted. And what has changed is what is highlighted, and it says under sex includes gender identity and sexual orientation. So that's what's been updated with the new Justice for All poster and the non-discrimination statement. So for your non-discrimination statement, you should have a copy of that. If you need a copy to be posted, let us know. But also, Amy will have a red folder, which I'll talk more about the red folders, but it's going to look like this to come out at her next review. It's going to have a copy of everything in it that you need to have available for a review. Okay, so just make sure that your non-discrimination statement is posted. The next thing that needs to be posted is the building for the future. Sorry, okay. Building for the future. This is a state form, and it says this daycare receives support from the CACFP program to serve healthy meals to your children. Meals served here must meet USDA nutritional standards. And this, yeah, that's it. Push continue right there. Awesome. Just leave that up for the next one, I guess. Okay. If parents ever have questions or concerns about the food program, there is our 1-800 number, and they also can go to the USDA website to learn more about the food program and why you're doing the things that you're doing. You know, why are you required to give milk for breakfast and for lunch? You know, why do you have to do all of these things? Why can't I make you accept outside food? You know, all of those type questions, you can refer them to this website. Okay. The other thing that we're required to share with our parents is facts about the WIC program. Every year in June, they come out with new income guidelines. So make sure you have your newest income guidelines. And now I see that I uploaded the wrong one. So this one says effective July 1, 2021. So there is a new one that's July 1, 2022, where the income has gone up. So in your red folder, and I have all of these available that I can email them to you too, if you would prefer them in email form. But it is going to have the 22 income on it. You also can contact your local WIC office. They're very good about giving you free like brochures and like tear off sheets if you want to have those available in your parent center for parents to like to tear off and take those. Okay, so make sure it's posted and make sure that you have the newest updated one posted. Okay. The next thing that the state is looking for when they come out to do a review is that you have a sample menu posted. Now, this one is a sample menu. So anytime that I give you a menu, that I don't want you to go post that on your poster, okay, on your board. I want you to come up with your own. What are you planning on serving that week? Or what are you planning on serving that month? A lot of the larger centers, I've noticed that they take a month, like September, and then for every day of the month, they will put in what they're planning on having for breakfast, for lunch, and for snack. And for that, it doesn't have to be as detailed. Like you can just say that I'm having taco salad and milk, and then on your actual production records, so we want to know the food items you serve. So we don't want to see taco salad. You know, we want to see that you used hamburger meat and it was ground chuck. It was 80-20. We want to see that you used lettuce and how many heads of lettuce, which was so many cups of lettuce, you know, how many cans of black beans you open. So we want to know the actual food items, but for your menus, it can just be menu items. And the main thing that the main purpose of this is to let the parents know what you're planning on serving. And if the state or the feds come out, they see that you're prepared, you're thinking ahead, you're making sure that you have all the food items in your center to prepare these meals for the next week. Now, can you make changes to this? Of course, of course. So like you come in this morning, you plan on having bananas for breakfast, but oh my goodness, all the bananas are bad. So you're going to save those bananas and make banana bread for snack or something. But hey, I've got strawberries and you want to substitute bananas for strawberries. That's fine. But on your production records, tell us exactly what you served. Don't put the bananas because that's not what you served. You want to put the strawberries. So I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions about the menus and what you need to be posted, go ahead and ask those questions or email me questions later. And a lot of people were like, well, what exactly do you want this board to look like? I've noticed when I come into some centers, you just have things taped on the wall or you have on the glass. I would encourage you, especially with Better Beginnings, they want you to have a parent board. Here's just a sample one that we made in our office to show you the things that are required from us. And it has the Justice for All poster, has the non-discrimination statement, has the Building for the Future, and the WIC information, the menu, and then we also included today's menu and the calendar that you received from us. You know, the calendar is not, it doesn't have to be posted, but it's a great thing to have a calendar up there to also let the parents know all the other things, field trips, special things that you have planned to communicate with your parents. And I know this is stuff that the Better Beginnings is looking for if you're working towards those next stars in your Better Beginnings program. Okay, any questions about things that need to be posted in your center? Okay, awesome. All right, we are going to go to the next one. While I'm doing this, can you do the next poll? Can you make the next poll work? So meal service, 2 of these are true and 1 of them is false. Asking a child if he or she wants breakfast counts as participation in that meal. B, all meal components must be offered at the same time at the beginning of each meal. And C, family style meals are allowable in the CACFP. So 2 are true, 1 is false. Tell us which one is false. The poll function should be up now. So which one is false? 1, 2, or 3, A, B, or C?
Evidently, you had to do a long click.
What now?
Watch.
Actually, what?
Long click.
A long click. Okay. Learn something new. So I'll give y'all a minute to answer that question. You hit the wrong one, that's okay. You're asking too fast. Okay, A, asking a child if or he or she wants breakfast counts as participation in that meal. B, all meal components must be offered at the same time at the beginning of the meal. And C, family style meals are allowable in the CACFP. So which one is false? A, B, or C? 1, 2, or 3? Okay, looks like some of you are getting this correct. The majority of you are getting correct. Some of you may have a little bit of question about it, and that's okay. That's why we're doing it. About how many answered last time? 54?
Yeah, I mean, it's about the same number.
Okay, so I wanted it.
Yeah.
And so I end the poll.
Yes.
Okay. And then now they should just see the screen. Just see this. Okay. Oh, where's my arrow? Chasing my arrows across the. So the majority of you were correct. It was A. Asking a child if he or she wants breakfast counts as participation in the meal. That is not correct. To be reimbursable meal, each child must be offered all the components. It needs to be put in front of them. Asking a child if he or she would like breakfast is not sufficient. Okay, you have to put the milk in front of them. You have to put the fruit or vegetable, and you have to put a bread or grain in front of the child at the same time. All of the components need to be prepared and put in front of them at the same time to be a reimbursable meal. Okay. Any questions about that? You can ask in the Q&A. And family style meals are not ideal for a center setting unless you're a very small center. But the only thing about family style is it, like say you have a bowl of rolls, then as you pass it, each child has to put a roll on their plate. Or if you're passing green beans around and you're going to use a half a cup scoop for them to scoop out a half a cup of green beans and put it on their plate. They're required to put it on their plate. You know, whether they eat it or not is up to them, but it needs to be put on their plate. Okay. All right. So our next question is, you can launch next. This is 2 truths and a lie about meal planning. A, or number 1, when serving yogurt, it must contain less than 23 grams of sugar per 6 ounces of yogurt. B, when serving cereal, it doesn't matter how much sugar is included. Or C, you may serve a fruit and or vegetable for snack as a reimbursable meal. True, true, or false? I think I see what they're saying is I need to read them all before you launch the poll because it covers it up.
It does.
That's what it is. Okay, so make sure I read all 3 of them before you launch the next poll. So A, when serving yogurt, it must contain less than 23 grams of sugar per 6 ounces of yogurt. B, when serving cereal, it doesn't matter how much sugar is included. C, you may serve a fruit and a vegetable for snack as a reimbursable meal. So it looks like we've got about half of you have responded. So we'll give you another second or 2. Yes, we're looking for the false. So is it choice 1, 2, or 3? A, B, or C? Which one is false? No problem. Did you get Amber?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, great job, guys. We're going to end that poll. So it should go away on your screen. And then we're going to come over here. The correct answer is B. When serving cereals, it doesn't matter how much sugar is included. Yes, it does matter. For sugar, there should be less than 6 grams of sugar per dry ounce. Here are some credible breakfast cereals. There can be more, there might be less. But what you want to do is that when you're shopping, you want to look at the label and make sure it has 6 grams of sugar or less per dry ounce. If you go like to Walmart or Sam's, if it says WIC under it, if it says WIC underneath it, you know it's credible. So that's usually the easiest way because cereals do change, especially over the years. They'll decide what they're going to market. Sometimes they want to market that these are whole grain cereals. Sometimes they want to market that they're 25% less sugar. They want to, so they're always choosing their marketing strategies, and they may lessen the sugar in some and then raise it in others. So you'll want to kind of watch that. But if it is a WIC approved cereal, you're pretty good that it's WIC approved. If you are using a food distributor like a Benny Key, the Quality Foods, Cisco, something like that, you always can just say, only send me cereals that are credible, that have 6 grams of sugar or less per dry ounce, and they will be able to help you with that as well. Okay. The other one was about yogurt, and I just want to touch on that one. You know, make sure that your yogurt has less than 23 grams of sugar per 6 ounces. So less than 23 grams of sugar per 6 ounces. Here's a chart that you can use when you're trying to decide if your yogurt is credible or not. I will tell you the majority of the yogurts that you can purchase are credible. Any of those in the large quantities at Sam's or that you would get from your food distributors are credible. All the Yoplays are credible that are flavored. The ones that you want to stay away from are the ones that are geared toward children, which I know is crazy, but like the Danimals and stuff, they have too much added sugar in them. Yogurt does have naturally occurring sugar, so there's always going to be some sugar, even if you get the plain Greek non-fat yogurt. It's going to have some sugar in it because of the natural occurring sugar. But what we really are worried about is those added sugars. So the ones that are geared toward kids typically have a lot of added sugar. And then if any of them say fruit on the bottom, what that is, it's just like a Jello, or a preservative, and it's just sugar. So stay away from any that say fruit on the bottom. If you want to add fruit to your yogurt, we highly encourage that. Just buy regular non-fat Greek yogurt, and then you can add blueberries and strawberries, and then you could drizzle it with some honey or something like that. And that'll make a much healthier options for your kids. And then also it can be used for a meat or meat alternate for breakfast and snack. Okay. The other thing that I want to draw your attention to is about the snacks. When you're choosing your snacks, you just have to choose from 2 different food groups. For those of you who have been with us for years, know that fruits and vegetables used to be together. So you couldn't serve a fruit and a vegetable at the same time for a snack. Well, that has changed because they have separated the fruits and the vegetables. So you can do a milk, you can do a fruit, a vegetable, a grain, or a meat alternate. So you just have to choose 2 from 2 different food groups. So if you wanted to have carrots with hummus and then had 100% apple juice, that is credible because the carrots would be coming out of your vegetable and the juice would be coming out of your fruit. So that is an allowable, reimbursable meal for snack. Okay. Are there any questions about that? Looking at my questions, Lola. Oh, the participants, yes, you can drag your poll over to, especially if you're on your computer. It's a little bit harder when it's on your phone. It looks like when it's on your phone, when the poll comes up, it takes up your whole screen. If you're on a computer, yes, you can drag your Q&A over to the side. You can drag your polls to the side. You can, yeah, so it doesn't cover up my PowerPoint. That's right. Thank you. All right. Okay, so then our next slide, if I can find my mouse, there we go. This is the meal patterns for children. You should all have a copy of this. At previous trainings, I've laminated this and I gave it to you on a clipboard to hang in your kitchen. If you do not have a copy of this, please let us know. I can email this to you. I can have Amy bring you a laminated one out to your next review. But this is just a good reference tool so that you can look at, okay, this morning for children, my 1 to 2 year olds, they need a ½ cup of milk, which is 4 ounces. Your 3 to 5 year olds need 3/4 of a cup, which is 6 ounces. And your 6 and up need a whole cup of milk, which is 8 ounces of milk. Your fruit and vegetables is 1/4 a cup, a ½ cup, a ½ cup. Your breads and grains is a ½ slice, a ½ slice, a whole slice. And if you choose to do a meat or meat alternate, it's the same sizes as your grain. So it would be a ½ slice, a ½ slice, a whole slice, or a ½ ounce, a ½ ounce. And actually, if you do a large eggs, it would just need to be, make sure that you're giving at least a ½ of an egg to everybody. A yogurt, it's going to be a fourth, and a ½ a cup for breakfast if you want to do yogurt in place of the grain. Remember, you can do that up to 3 times a week. You can have a meat in place of your grain, or you can have a meat or meat alternate any day in addition to your grain. Okay. Remember, we just talked about with snacks, you want to choose 2 components from 2 different food groups. And here's the serving sizes for that. And one thing that Mona always wants me to bring to y'all's attention is that for fruits and vegetables for snack, it's a ½ a cup, a ½ a cup, 3/4 of a cup. Whereas for breakfast, you know, especially the 1 to 2 year olds, for breakfast, they only have to have a 1/4 a cup of fruits and vegetables. But at lunch, at snack, they have to have a ½ a cup. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're serving fruits and vegetables for snack, that the serving size might be a little bit more than what you typically do for breakfast. Okay, and then for lunch and supper, you have to have 5 components: milk, a meat, a vegetable, fruit, and a bread or grain. Okay, and even though they separated the fruits and the vegetables, the serving sizes were just cut in half. So instead of having to have a 1/4 a cup, a ½ a cup, and 3/4 of a cup, they just split them between the fruits and the vegetables. So for a 1 to 2 year old, they only have to have 1/8 of a cup of a vegetable and 1/8 a cup of a fruit. And the 3 to 5 year olds just need a 1/4 cup and a 1/4 cup. So it's very, very minimum. And remember, all of these are just minimum requirements. You can always serve more, but like I've told you in previous trainings, I highly encourage that you go ahead and make your plates with all the minimums and serve that to the child, so it will encourage them to eat something of all the components. And then if they're still hungry and they want more, it's always fine to give them more. Okay. Are there any questions about meal patterns for children? All right, the next one. Oh, okay, I didn't even do anything. I don't want to do. And this is your meal patterns for infants. So when we're looking at your records, the birth to 5 months is just going to be breast milk or formula. And the great thing about the new regulations with CACFP is that it's called developmentally appropriateness. So whenever that child is developmentally ready, it's typically around 6 months of age, but for some kids it might be before and some kids it might be after. But once they are developmentally ready for iron fortified infant cereal, I don't know why that one looks so weird. Does it look weird on y'all's? I don't know. That's the formatting kind of got messed up on that. The copy that you have shouldn't look like that. But They need to have iron fortified infant cereals. They need to have fruits and vegetables. And remember, once they are developmentally ready for that, we need to see 3 components for all the meals for your infants. Okay, we need to see that you're providing them and serving them their milk, which is either formula or breast milk, their cereals, and their fruits or vegetables. And then for snack, they can have, for grain instead of cereal, they can have a cracker, they can have any of those really great infant things like puffs and bitter biscuits and stuff. The only things you want to stay away from they're called like mum sticks or something. They are potato starch. And so those are not grains. So stay away from, don't even buy those. I mean, I know they're fun and stuff and the kids like them, but stay away from those. But any of the other infant things, especially the ones that say made with whole grain, those are going to be great options to have for snack for your infants that are 6 to 11 months of age. Okay. If you have any questions about infant feeding, I am going to do a whole YouTube channel just on infant feeding, and I'll be posting that to our YouTube channel, and that would be a good one if you for your infant teachers to watch. So I'll be working on that within the next month. Okay. All right, let's go to the next question. We need to launch a new poll, and while he's doing that, whole grains A, B, or C. Every meal must contain a whole grain component. B, a whole grain food found in the WIC approved grain list is credible. And C, infants are not required to have whole grain. Which one is false? Okay. So your poll should be up there now. So choose 1, 2, or 3, which would be A, B, or C. Which one is false? Ooh, this one's like a 50-50. Y'all aren't sure. Some of you think it's A, every meal must contain a whole grain component, or C, infants are not required to have whole grain. I'll give y'all just another second. About half of you have answered. It's fine. She's been with us forever. All right. What do y'all think? A, B, or C? Okay, you can go ahead and end that poll. Go to the next slide. And the answer is A. Okay. Oh, wait, I messed that up. What was that? Okay, but yeah, every meal must contain a whole grain component. That is false. You only have to have a whole grain at 1 meal per day. If you want to have it at more, that's perfectly fine. But when Mona is checking your production records, we want to see that you have 1 per day per child. I messed that up. It's my fault. I'm sorry. Yeah, I messed that up. So we'll just skip to the next page. There we go. So here is a USDA sheet about whole grains. Whole grain rich foods are an important part of your menu, and foods that are whole grain rich are filling with vitamins, minerals, fiber, and other nutrients to help kids and adults stay healthy. So how often do I have to serve whole grains? Every day, at least one of the grain components of the meal or snack must be whole grain rich. And on your production records, whichever one you decide to choose, you need to put a WG beside it. That way, when Mona's flipping through your production records, she needs to visibly see that you have a whole grain offered every single day. And now, if you want to do it for more than 1 meal, that's perfectly fine, but you're only required to do it at 1 meal, okay? And there is no whole grain rich requirement for infants. So that was one of your options. If you choose to buy a grain for snack that is whole grain rich, that's great. That's fine. That's great for the infants, but it's not a requirement that we're looking for on your infant menus. Okay. If you're serving meals and snacks to the same group of children during the day, serve whole grain at least one of the meals or the snack. So if you had it for snack today and you served on breakfast and lunch, the breakfast and lunch don't have to be whole grain. If you had Cheerios for breakfast today and that's going to be your whole grain, then you don't have to give them one for lunch or supper, okay, or snack. If you serve meals and snacks at a different group of children or adults during the same, serve a whole grain items for the grain components to one of the groups of children in each day. So a couple of the centers, I don't think there's very many of you that still do this, but may have shift feeding. So you have a morning shift, and then all those kids go home, and then you have an afternoon into the evening shift. So they're there for maybe PM snack, supper, and an evening snack. So if you do, they're two totally separate, then you may have to have 2 grains per day. So if any of y'all have 2 shifts and you have questions about that shift feeding, just don't hesitate to ask questions. If you serve only snacks, if you do not serve a grain component, it doesn't have to be whole grain. But if you, I mean, obviously you're not serving one, but if you serve a grain, it does have to be whole grain because that is the only meal you're serving those kids. Okay, and I think that's all I wanted to say about that. So we'll go to the next one. This is about child enrollment forms. We're going to launch another poll. A, B, or C, which one is false? Which is the lie? Meals are not reimbursable until a completed child enrollment income form is on file at the AR Children office. B, a copy of each child enrollment income form must also be kept with your records and readily available for review. C, child enrollment forms include information on a child's medical history. So go ahead and choose. Is that A, B, or C, 1, 2, or 3? Which one is false? Which one is the lie here? Good job. So A, B, or C? Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and end that poll. And most of you were correct. The answer is C. So meals are not reimbursable until we have a completed child enrollment form and income form on file in the office. If you have having difficulties and you don't know if those enrollment forms need to be redone, make sure and just call and ask Mona. She can also send you, she keeps a spreadsheet of all the kids when they are enrolled, what their birthdays are. So she knows exactly what months they're going to expire. So we need to make sure we keep on those and make sure that we have a new current enrollment form and income form on every child. A copy also needs to be kept in your records. When we signed you up, you each received a 2-inch 3-ring binder with an A to Z file in there. Please use that to your benefit. Make sure that all of your enrollments and incomes, obligations to serve infant forms are all in there in alphabetical order by the child's last name, so that they're all current, so that way you have that binder ready to be presented for a review. Okay. So the child enrollment forms do not include any of their medical history. So that would be the one that was false. This is what our child enrollment form looks like. Make sure you're using the new updated enrollment form on all new enrollments. Now, if you have the old one and they are not expired, they are still good. Okay. The only thing that has changed on this form is that we have added the racial ethnic back into our forms. Okay, this is something that the state would like for us to track for civil rights compliancy. So it is still, we have to track it, but it's an option. So if that makes any sense. So if the parents do choose to mark that, that way we can keep track of the racial ethnic origin of the children that are being served through this program. Okay. So on this form, please make sure that you have the name of your center, the address, the meals that you're going to be providing for reimbursement for that child. Typically, that's the breakfast, lunch, PM snack. Sometimes you might provide other meals, but they will not be reimbursable because you can only claim 2 main meals and 1 snack per day per child, or 2 snacks and 1 main meal. Okay, we want to list the kid's first name, last day, age, birthday, hours of care, days of week, and the gender. We want to note if they have any special needs or dietary needs or allergies. The parent needs to put that and give you the doctor's name and phone number. If there are any medical needs that you need to make accommodations for them, then I would encourage to get an actual medical form filled out, which looks like, let me show you what one looks like. It looks just like this. So a medical statement if there is a severe allergy and they want you to make changes to your program. And make sure you have a copy of that on file with your enrollment form, and go ahead and send that to Mona as well. Okay, so back to this is what your enrollment form looks like. And then the parents needs to put emergency contact, address, they need to sign it and date it. Okay, remember this form is good for 1 year from the parent's date. You are going to look at this form, you're going to make sure that it's all filled out, all the blanks are filled out, and all the information is correct to the best of your knowledge. You're going to go to the top right-hand corner and you're going to initial it and date it. You are the provider, so you need to make sure you initial it and date it. Then you're going to send a copy of this to Mona at centers@ar-children.com. is the easiest way is to email these forms in. Later in the presentation, Amy's going to talk about ways to make it easier to send this, with all the technology. So just make sure that we have a new updated form on all of your kids. So this is the enrollment. This is the income. The income form changes every year as well. If your income form you already have is not expired, it's still good until it expires. So all of your new ones, please make sure you're using the new meal benefit income eligibility form. It's going to say 2002 to 2002. No, it's going to say 2022 to 2023. And on the back of the form, it's going to have the yearly income for you to refer to. And you should each have received the new income eligibility guidelines by email. If you have not received this and you need a copy of it, please let us know. It will also be in the red folder that Amy's bringing around at her next review. Okay, so on this form, it's very important that you list all the children's names. Remember, if they're a foster child, they're automatically free on the program. And then on number 2, if they receive SNAP benefits, they're also automatically free on the program. So all those people would just need to skip and fill out part 5. If they do receive the SNAP benefit, we need their case name and the case number. And if for everyone else, we need to fill out number 4. And number 4, you're going to list all the people who live in the household. And we prefer the gross monthly earnings. But if you notice, I have all these little boxes because some people don't know how much they make in a month, but they may know how much their paycheck is. So if they tell you how much they make weekly, they could tell us how much they make bi-weekly, twice a month, or monthly. And that's what those little boxes are for. Because a lot of times they would just put 1,000. Well, how often do you get $1,000? So that's why that is there. Okay. Everyone needs to fill out part number 5 and sign off that this information is true. Remind this is a federal form and it's a felony to lie on a federal document. So we want them to be giving us, accurate information. Okay, so the back of the form is for you. So make sure you put the name of your facility and put the first child's name that's on the form. That way, if fronts and backs get mixed up, especially if you fax or when we email and we print things and pages get mixed up, we'll know which fronts and backs go together. Okay, here's another place where you can mark the racial identity of the child. And then what's in this grayed out box is where you will figure out, okay, here's their total income. I am going to tell you they are free, reduced, or they're denied on this application. If you deny them on the application, we want to know why. So under reason, tell us why. I denied them because it was an incomplete application. Occasionally you're going to get families that we're going to refuse to give you this information. And if they do, it's okay. You were just going to put denial and incomplete application. If you think that their income falls below the reduced rate, I would show them this form and say, hey, just out of curiosity, how many people live in your household? I'm like, well, there's 5. And then go over to the annual, the $60,070 and say, okay, well, does your family make above $60,070 a year? And if they say, well, yeah, then it doesn't matter if we get the information or not. They're going to be denied on the application. So you can just go ahead and deny them for an incomplete application, okay? But if they say, oh no, our family doesn't make that much, then I really encourage you to encourage them to fill out the form, because then they're gonna fall in that free or reduced category. And that means gonna be a higher reimbursement for your center. And just tell them that you're gonna keep this information confidential, that only people that would see it is you, our office, and if your center is audited by the states or the feds. So just keep that in mind. The more free reduced kids, the higher reimbursement that your center is going to get. So we want to encourage the families to fill it out if they do indeed qualify. Okay, so back on that form too, so you're going to give that the reasoning, and then the determining signature, that's you. So you're signing that and you're dating that and you're saying that this is true to the best of your knowledge, and you're signing off that they are free, reduced, or denied on the application. Okay, and then where it's a sponsor signature, that's where we're going to double check it and we're going to make sure, and we're going to sign it and date it. If for some reason we change it and we say, no, based on how we read the form, we think that they're reduced instead of free, then we will change it here, and Mona will give you a call so that you can make sure and change it on your form as well. This stuff on the bottom of the grayed out form, it's just information for you to make it easier for you to figure out. A lot of people don't know how to do the math to figure out the income. So these are some little conversion charts that I've included, and also the household income for the yearly, in case you cannot locate your income chart. But the income chart is great because it breaks it down annually, monthly, and weekly for free and reduced. Okay, so are there any questions about those 2 forms? If not, we will move on to the next one. Questions? Okay. This is your obligation to serve infant form. And remember, we need one of these on all of the infants in your care, 0 to 12 months of age. Once we have a copy of this, then there's no reason to send us another one unless you're making a change. So you're required to offer one type of formula, and it must be an iron fortified infant formula. So on the form, you're going to put the name of your center, the type of formulas that you're offered. It needs to be iron fortified, so if you have a milk-based iron fortified and then you want to also provide a soy-based, you can do that. And then the parent is going to put the name of the infant, the birthday, and then they're going to accept or decline what you're offering. If they accept it and they say, okay, you're going to be providing infant milk with iron, that's what my baby drinks, then they accept it, and then you just provide the formula that whole first year of life until they're ready for the whole milk, okay? If they decline it, then they're going to say, okay, what am I going to provide? I will provide a specialized, formula that's hard to get, or they're going to provide breast milk because obviously you can't provide that for the child. So, and then also there's the option of providing on-site breastfeeding. So if you are a center and you have a mom that would like to come in and breastfeed their child on their break or something, you just need to have a place in your center that they can go to do that, and then they will give the child back to the infant teacher after they nurse their baby. It's also a great option to provide for workers. So if you have a teacher that has a baby in the center. So we want to encourage breastfeeding, especially the first 6 months of life. Once they are about 6 months of age is when we want to start giving those supplementing with cereals and fruits and vegetables. And it says, I accept the meals and snacks, or I decline the meals and snacks that will be offered by my provider. And then the parent will sign and date that form. So then we need a copy of that form. So you need to email us a copy, fax us a copy of that form, and then file the original by the child's last name and your A to Z file in your 3-ring binder. Okay. And then the medical statement, like I said, we don't need one of these on all of your children, only the ones that want you to make changes and make accommodations for their child. All right, and on this medical statement, the most important things that must be included is we want to know the names of the foods to be avoided. And also I would want to know what they suggest that you put in its place. If it's something simple like strawberries, well, you just don't serve that child strawberries. But when it comes to milk, well, this child is, is dairy-free, soy-free, nut-free, all of these things. Well, what can we supplement to meet that child's dietary needs? Okay. And then it needs to be an explanation of how the food affects the child. You want to know that to cover you. You don't, because if it's a nut allergy, some kids just can't consume that. So it's okay to have it in your center. You just got to make sure that child doesn't have it. But if they have a severe allergy where they can't even be around it, then you may have to make that decision to make your center a total nut-free zone or a tree-free zone, the different types of nuts and stuff, if it's something that can affect the child just being in the center. And then we need to have a signature of the child's healthcare provider on that form, okay? Any questions about that? So make sure that we have a copy of the enrollment form, the income form, and the obligation to serve infant form on all of your kids. And we need a copy on file before you submit a claim claiming that child for the month. Medical statements just for those that need you to make special accommodations to their meals. Is there a question?
Just make sure we scroll all the way down. I don't think there's a question, but it's been a while since we've seen anything. So I think we're.
Oh, yep. There was a couple there. Thank you. All right, so we're going to go to the next question that I have. There are 2 truths and one. I'll let you do it. Make sure that meals include. Okay. Oh, let me go back. Arkansas Children takes many steps to ensure the accuracy of claims submitted. These steps include all of the following, except making sure that meals served include credible foods, making sure that we conduct a milk audit every month, and then also making sure that we do a required updated household income statement each month. So which one is false? A, B, or C? 1, 2, or 3? So we're going to launch a new poll. So choose A, B, or C. And I'll give you a second to answer that. I just wanted to make sure I give you enough time at the end. I didn't want to take up too much time. Me talking. About half of you have answered. We'll give you another second or two. Yes, I can email you a copy of all of the things that I've just showed you. And Amy's going to bring out hard copies of everything, but I can send you everything in email form, and you can copy off what you need, print off what you need. Okay. So the correct answer would be what? Go to the next slide. C. We do want to make sure that all of your meals are credible. We want to make sure that I can't see what was the second one. We want to make sure that we conduct a milk audit every month. And but C, we only need those income statements annually, once a year. And so if you have any questions about those, please let us know. So the milk audit, that was one of the things. And a lot of the centers ask about that. Well, what is this and why do you do this? A milk audit is very important. We are required by the state to do one every month to show that you purchased enough milk on your receipts to verify how much milk you needed to serve that month. And some people are like, well, how do you come up with how many ounces I needed to serve? This is what I use. It's just a very simple Excel workbook that adds everything for you. So what we will do, and if you'd like a copy of this, I have no problem emailing this out to you as well. But every month, Mona will open up a new milk audit with the days that you're open. So like this one, I think it might have been for June because it's the 3rd. So if you see on the left side, it's got the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and then you're closed the 8th and the 9th, and then it goes on to the other ones. So you had 12 kids that were 1 to 2, 10 kids that were 3 to 5, 10 kids were 6 to 12. And so then it just adds it for you. It multiplies the 4, 6, and 8 ounces. It tells you at the bottom how many ounces you needed, how many gallons that would be. Then what we do is we go through your receipts and mark all of your receipts of how many gallons of milk you purchased that month. And we put that number there, and then it figures, and then there's a surplus. So then we'll see, okay, you bought 40, you needed 51, so you have a surplus of 5 gallons. And then when Mona does your next milk audit for the next month, if you're a little bit short, she can always pull this audit and say, oh, you had 5 gallon surplus, but you might have bought the last day of the month, you know. So that's why this is why we use this. And Nathan's going to go over more about sending your receipts in and how we would like those to be. So it's just to make it easier for us to verify all this information, because as you can imagine, it takes a long time to process a claim. And anything that we can do to make the process more streamlined and easier for you, easier for Mona, easier for us, the better. So I wanted you to see what a milk audit looks like. And like I said, you're welcome to have a copy of it, but this is not anything that's required of you. But I wanted you to see what Mona does in-house for those that had questions about what is a milk audit and why does she say I'm short of milk on months? And this is how she comes up with that. All right, the next question is about record keeping. Menu and meal count records must be completed at the beginning of each day. Menu and meal count records should be kept on file in your center for review by AR Children, State, and USDA. And C, menu and meal count records must match the name of each child present for the meal service and the meal component served. Okay, which one is false? Which one is the lie? Was it A, B, or C? I see a couple of you have answered. Yes. We will work on, you can no longer hear me. Oh, I'm sorry. Can everybody else hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Nobody can hear me? Or yeah, raise your hand. I guess raise your hand if you can hear me. Okay, that makes me feel better. People can hear me. You can hear me? Okay. It may be your internet, and I apologize. Try to get back on. If you want to log off and get back on, that will be fine. And like I said, we are going to put this on YouTube that you can watch later if you miss anything. Okay, good. You can hear me now. Good, good. Okay. So choose A, B, or C. Okay, we'll end that poll. And the false one was A. Menu and meal count records must be completed at the beginning of each day. That is false. We do not want you to mark off your attendance. We do not want you to mark off what you served until you're doing it, like at the point of the service, while you're doing it, or after. We don't want you to do it before you've done it. On some of our reviews, like we've come out for lunch and you've already marked all the kids off for PM snack, and that PM snack would be disallowable because you don't know. I mean, so one of the kids might get sick or one of the parents might come and pick them up early. Then that information would not be correct. So please don't mark off your attendance on your point of service until after you've served that meal or while you're serving that meal, okay? And and that's one of the things that when we were audited by the state, a lot of y'all were visited by the state, one of their biggest complaints is the fact that our record keeping, we've got to work on our record keeping to be done at the point of service of each meal. So when you serve the meal, we want to mark it off. And that is why we updated our meal count attendance form. So it does look a little bit different. It is on the left, it looks the same, but then we've added every day with 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, and PM snack. I know that Amy has been working on these workbooks for you. So if your workbook is not updated and doesn't look like this, please email Amy at ar-children.com and she will help you get a correct workbook for your center, okay? Because she wants to make sure that there's enough lines for all of your kids, and then has your signature at the end on the claim, so that way you don't have to worry about doing that every month. And you'll just list the days. And the biggest thing about this is that when you're serving breakfast, it's going to have all the kids listed. You give them, okay, here's Nathan's breakfast. We're going to check off that Nathan got his breakfast. Here's Spring's breakfast. Spring got her breakfast. Amy got her breakfast. Oh, Marie's not here. So she would not get a check mark for breakfast, but she was feeling bad, but she came back in for lunch. Okay, it's lunchtime. We're going to put in, here's lunch. Spring's still here. She gets a lunch. Nathan gets a lunch at point of service. Oh, and if you're using the Excel function, make sure you use 1s and 0s. Excel just likes numbers. It doesn't like letters, okay? So if you're using the Adobe, some of you were still using the Adobe fillable forms, and on those, it makes actual physical check marks. And I'm okay with that. But when you're putting on these, you have to put a 1 if they're there, a 0 if they're not, and because it's going to add up the ones. And don't put anything else but 1s and 0s, okay? And that way, it'll add straight across and down correctly, and then it'll add from pages to page, and then all the way down to your claim form and your recap sheets. All the numbers will be added up correctly, and you don't have to do any addition. So it takes all that math out for you. So we want to encourage everyone to use the Excel or the Adobe. Obviously, we found that the Excel workbook works out much easier. But if you do not have Excel or the ability to use Excel, there's also something called Google Sheets you can use, which will work a lot like Excel. And if you have a Google email, it's free. Yeah, it's free, and Nathan's gonna talk more about that. So anyway, so we'll just keep going, but just make sure that everyone is using this form as of now. Okay, so for September, I want everyone using the new meal count attendance form. And if you don't have a copy of it, please let us know. All right, this is what the production record looks like. Looks exactly the same, hasn't changed in years. I don't think so, since like 2014 or something. Here's the infant records. They need to be filled out every day after each meal. And we're going to move on to the next one, which is about reimbursement. You may be take a deep breath and slow down. You may be reimbursed for a maximum of 2 snacks and 1 meal, or 2 meals and 1 snack per day per child. B, 50% of your enrollment must qualify for free or reduced rates. Or C, reimbursement rates are adjusted by the USDA annually. So which one is false? A, B, or C, 1, 2, or 3? And Nathan's going to launch a new poll, so it should be up there. So choose 1, 2, or 3, A, B, or C. Is it? Are you getting them all right? Very good. Give you just another second. Only about half of you have answered. I hope I'm not losing any of y'all. Y'all still awake? All right. So 50% of your enrollment must be qualified for free or reduced rates. That is not correct. Only 25% of your enrollment must qualify for free or reduced rates. And the new rates, y'all are going to be so excited because the new rates have gone up almost 30 cents a day. And that doesn't sound like a lot when you think, 30 cents, but if you have 100 kids times 30 cents for a month, that's quite a bit of money. I'm not good with math, so I can't do the quick math. Nathan can tell me. So go to the next one and show them. These are your new rates. And so a lot of people with centers ask me, well, how much is my reimbursement going to be? Well, it's very difficult for me to tell you. I can't just say multiply how many kids you have because it's a blended rate. So the best way to describe that is it's an average. A lot of people know what that means. So your breakfast for, like, if all of your kids were free, then you would get $2.21 for breakfast, $4.03 for lunch, and $1.18 for snack. But there's very, very few centers out there that have 100% free kids. So some will have free and reduced, and then some have free, reduced, and paid. So all of that is blended to give you a blended rate. Plus, you will also get 30 cents for commodities. And that is something that they have done for years. When I was a young child and my mom was doing this program, I remember being like 3 and 4 years old, and we would be downtown at the Presbyterian office, and people would actually physically come and pick up commodities. They would pick up cheese and butter and milk and all of that stuff. Well, when the government discontinued commodities, they would give you cash in lieu. And it's just something that's continued over the years. I really don't understand why they don't just add it to your reimbursement. But that's what that is. So you also get that 30-cent cash in lieu. So I just wanted to give you an idea of what the reimbursement rate looks like, but it is very difficult for you to figure. But we do have a blend in our office, so if anyone wants a copy of that blend, we can send that to you as well. Okay. Our next question is about maintaining records. You must maintain copies of your records for 5 years. They must be accessible for review in your center. This one says home, but in your center. I did a training for homes, and this was one that slides that I copied and pasted. B, no need to maintain any records. C, you must maintain copies of your CN labels, and they must also be accessible in your center for review. So is it A, B, or C? Which one is false? I'll give you a second to choose that poll. Oh, no.
It's pulling.
This isn't pulling a lot. Oh, good, good, good. And how are we doing on time? It's 1:30.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're doing pretty good.
We have 1 hour left based on this.
All right. About half of you have answered. Is it A, B, or C? A, B, or C? Let me go over here to the. I have a hard time getting it. Oh, okay. All right, Excel or W forms. Oh, how do you get access to those Excel or forms? We would email those to you. So Amy at ar-children.com, she is the one that creates the workbooks for me. She's wonderful and she's really great with Excel. And so she's the one that comes out and does your reviews. So just email Amy at ar-children.com. Let her know what center you're with and that you need a center workbook. Okay. And then she might ask you some questions about how many kids you have enrolled and that kind of stuff. And Callie, you need milk. Okay, we will get those sent out to you. And if hopefully you are using the workbook, but if not, hopefully Amy can get that one set up for you. Ooh, that's a good question. She just started using the Excel workbooks, and when I put the date on the attendance sheet, it puts it in a different format. Formatting is challenging. I think it's always challenging going from one computer to another computer. That might be a good question for Nathan here in a minute. You think about that? Yeah. Oh, please go back to the meal count. And does it calculate for the week? Yes, if you are using the Excel workbook, it's going to calculate all the numbers for you, and it will go from sheet to sheet. Who is pre-K? If you'll type what center you're with, we'll make sure. Can her email be put in the chat? Of course. Of course it can. Chat. Type my message here. Amy at ar-children.com. Oh, I left the N off. Is that right, Nathan? I can't see very well.
Yes.
Okay, there's Amy's email. So she will be the one to contact with the workbook. And then if you later, and if you have more questions, technology questions, the best person to email will be Nathan at ar-children.com. All of our emails are at ar-children.com. Okay, so that's helpful. If you have nutritional questions or any kind of questions for me, remember mine is Nicole, and there's no H in it. Nicole at ar-children.com. Okay, so there's our oh,
Next.
it says everyone should be able to see it.
Yeah.
Can't see your chat.
You may have to scroll down
Maybe you have to scroll down.
or select the chat box.
So, yeah, maybe, yeah, at the bottom of your screen, there should be like a mute video participants. There should be a chat that looks like a bubble, and you should be able to click on that to see the chat. And then there's a Q&A, but I'm also looking at participants. I mean, I'm looking at it as the panelist, not as an attendee. So mine might look different. Can't see my chat either. Okay. Can y'all see the Q&A? If y'all can see the Q&A, I can. But the Q&A is not like available for everyone to see. So the chat, everyone should be able to see. Well, when I get further into the presentation, y'all can also just take a screenshot of everyone's email addresses. Okay. So if you don't see it right now, at the end of my presentation, I have everyone's email addresses, and you can just take a screenshot of that. Nathan's working on why some of you can't see the chat. I'm wondering, to host and panelists. What if I just change it to everyone? Will that matter? Nathan?
You can try.
I'll try. I'm going to try to switch it to everyone. And everyone. Okay, now see if y'all can see it. I'll do it again. Amy at ar-children.com. There's Amy's. Nicole at ar-children.com is me. Yay, that worked. Yay. Nicole at ar-children.com. That's me. Nathan is our tech guru. His is Nathan at dash children. All right, we're going to get through, let's try to get through my part. And so that way we'll have more time that y'all can ask technical questions to Nathan. Okay, so about maintaining your records. The correct one was no need to maintain your records. That's definitely not the case. We need to maintain our records for 5 years plus the year that you're working on. All of your records need to be accessible in your center for review. That's very important. When you're reviewed from us, like when Amy comes out to do a review, she just wants to look back at the last 5 days of your records, and she wants to see that you have your income forms, your enrollment forms, and all those things in order in your book. What you're serving is on your production records, and the kids that you're claiming are actually there. So that's what she's looking for. If the state comes out, they may want to look at the whole previous month. So you need to make sure that you have that available where you can produce it for that center. For that person from the state. Remember, don't ever take any of your records away from the center. They should always be at the center. You also need to maintain copies of all those CN labels. And you can get the CN labels if you're getting it, you can get it off of your packages. Like here's a package of State Fair corn dogs, and you'll see right there in the middle where the rectangle that says CN, 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 that would be it. I would take a picture of the whole thing. Or you can just cut it out of the box, however you want to do it. But we need one CN label for every CN product that you serve, okay? And make sure you put a capital C, capital N on your records to show that, hey, these corn dogs I'm serving today, I have a CN label on them. And on that CN label, I know that it tells me that one of these corn dogs is going to give 2 ounces of meat and 2 ounces of bread per CACFP requirement. So I'm going to be giving this one corn dog per child, and it's going to account for my meat and my bread. So that's why they're important. If you are when you are reviewed, we want to see that you have these on file. Now, every time you serve one, you don't have to have the label, but we need one for each product. If you're using a distributor like Benny Keith, Cisco, they can give those to you, and you need a physical copy of it, not just your invoice that says you got corn dogs today and they are CN. That's great for you to know that what you're buying is CN, but we actually need a copy of that. You need to have a copy of that CN label, because that CN label tells you how much of the product is meat, how much of the product is bread, and then how much you need, to give each child. Now, on some products, if you cannot locate a CN label, we can take product formulation statements. I don't have a copy of one of those on my PowerPoint today, but what that is it's almost like a letter from the company. Like Tyson has a product formulation statement on everything that they sell. And it's going to tell you how much product is meat, how much product is bread, and it's going to be signed off from somebody at their corporate offices. The only thing about those is you need to watch the date. They will have a date that they expire. So when you, I would encourage all of you to go back today and look for your CN labels. Make sure you have one for everything that you're currently serving. And if any of them are expired, just go ahead and get rid of those. And just make sure you have all the current ones. And if you're using a Benny Keith, a Cisco or something, make sure that your distributor gives you a physical copy of all your CN labels and you have those available for review. Okay. Are there any questions about CN labels? I'm going over here to see if there was any questions. I think I've answered all of these. Did I already answer all these? Why is it not stop? Oh, I'm going the wrong way. So sorry. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Amy's on that one. Oh yeah. I forgot. I didn't even introduce Amy was going to get on. She's not here physically, but she's here on the webinar. So also she should be able to see the chat function. So if you have a question for Amy, she's here. I'm sorry, Amy, I forgot. So if y'all have any questions for her, she's available. And like I said, you can also email her at amy@arjustchildren.com. Okay, so let's go on to our next question, 2 truths and a lie. This one is about I understand I should email my claims in by the 15th of the month, contact AR Children before making any changes to my program, and C, be prepared for a review only when contacted beforehand. So 2 of these are true, 1 of them is false. We're going to launch a poll, and I'd like for you to go ahead and do that. Is it A, B, or C? 1, 2, or 3? Good job. This was a pretty easy one. All right, very good. So what do we want to do? We want to email and mail your claims by the 15th of the next month. So if you're working on your July claim, it should be postmarked by August the 15th. Or emailed by August the 15th. If you're working on August claim, then it should be sent here by September the 15th, postmarked September 15th, or in our office emailed by the 15th, okay? Contact AR Children before making any changes to your program. That is true. Be prepared for review at any time, because they are always going to show up at the time that you didn't want them to show up. So make sure that you're always prepared for a review. And if you are the director and you're not going to be there, then you make sure the person that you have left in charge knows about the food program, has access to all the records that they will need to see when they come to do a review. Okay. So my next slide shows that you want to mail email by the 15th of the month. And you might think, well, why are you making such a big deal about this? It's been a huge deal lately. Okay. When I signed you up on our program, you signed an agreement that you would have your records your claims in by the 15th of the month. Okay. I know things happen, and I know that a lot of times y'all are just overworked, understaffed, and it's hard to get things done. One thing is if you will stay on top of this on a daily basis, it shouldn't take very long to get your claim together to send in. 2, if you use the Excel workbook, it's going to make your life so much easier. And 3, if it is the 60th day, we cannot pay you. And you cannot wait until the 59th day to send something in and expect Mona to be able to process it. You know, when she gets a packet and she opens a packet, she's got to check everything. And if there's a missing enrollment form, one is expired, a meal is not complete, you're short on milk, all of those things needs time to be fixed. We are not going to submit a claim without it being all fixed beforehand, okay? And then after that 59th day, we can't get money from the state. So I understand that things happen, and I understand, and I'm all about showing grace, but we cannot show grace past that time. So you need to make sure that you're getting the claims in a timely manner and allowing Mona plenty of time to double check those claims and helping you to correct anything that needs to be corrected, so then we can submit the claim and get your money and get you paid in a timely manner. Okay. And we'll be talking more about that in a minute with using the online forms. Okay. Please contact Arkansas Children before making any changes to your program. If you get a new license, like I know licensings have been coming out, if they change your license capacity, change your number, you become an LLC, please let us know that. We need to know all that information before you get reviewed by the state. And if your center will be closed for any reason, please let us know, especially when we come into the winter months and say your electricity's not working today, it's out because of weather, you don't have any water today, so you're going to be closed. Please let us know. Just shoot Mona an email or me, centers at AR. Hey, I'm going to be closed. I'm with ABC Happy Kids. We're going to be closed today. Inclement weather policy. That way we know. So if the state was to have someone out that day and they call the office and say no one's here, we can say, oh, well, they let us know that they're closed today because they don't have water, or they don't have electricity, or they have COVID and they shut down their whole center. We need to know those things. Obviously, you don't have to tell us that you're going to be closed for a federal holiday. We know that the majority of you're going to be closed on Halloween. I mean, not Halloween. You're going to be closed on Thanksgiving. You're going to be closed at Christmas. You're going to be closed on New Year's Day. Those type of things we know. If it's a federal holiday, you're going to be closed. But if you're going to take a week off and you're going to like at spring break, you're going to be closed, let us know. You're going to take a week off in the summer, let us know. If there's any changes to directors and cooks, please let us know so that we can update that. Technically, we are not supposed to speak to anyone that's not on the contract. So on your contract, we listed the owner, and then on the back of the contract, we listed all the people that you're giving access to for Mona to talk to about the program. So that's where your directors, your assistant directors, your cooks are listed. So if those things change, you need to let Mona know so that she knows who she has the ability to talk to about the food program. Okay. All right. So that concludes that required stuff that I wanted to talk about. The next thing was going to go into what's your earliest food memory. And I just want to, because I wanted to talk about foods, and some of your memories could be good, could be bad. Maybe it's sharing a special meal with a loved one, or maybe a time someone made you try new food that you didn't like. I want you just to close your eyes for a minute and think of something that sticks in your mind from your early childhood. And when I want to open up the chat function, I'd like for you to tell me, what is your earliest food memory, good or bad? What did I do wrong? Oh, okay. I don't see my mouse. Oh, there it is. I got it. So is anyone sharing? I'm giving you just a few seconds. Good popsicles on a swing set. I love that. Homemade biscuits. That's great. Grandmother's fried chicken. Bad chicken nuggets. That's funny. Tea cakes, pizza, pancakes, watermelon on a hot summer day with family. Oh, pancakes. I love this. Corn dogs. Corn, ice cream for the first time. Mangoes, grandmother's butter rolls. Oh yeah, or the rolls that they had at schools. Funnel cakes, cinnamon rolls. Cucumbers with lime, mac and cheese, homemade pound cake, homemade pizza, broccoli. I still don't like it. I love that. Pizza. My grandparents had a garden, so I do have a lot of memories of snapping peas and stuff. But one of the gross memories I have is my grandfather had these big old like jars that like his pickles came in, and they would be full of pickled pig's feet and eggs, and he would just take them out of the jar and eat the eggs. It was gross, you know. So the thing is that we do have such vivid memories of food, whether positive or negative, and we want to make sure that we are giving positive food memories to the children that we have in our care. And one way that we can do this is with the Farm to the CACFP program. And I wanted to just briefly talk about what does that mean. Simply put, it helps children learn about food through activities. During this, we're going to discuss some local foods, how they can fit into your menus, and talk about fun foods and gardening curriculum ideas. And I want to know how how you're using farm to food in your program. So if you're already currently using farm to food in your program, I'd love to hear more about that. And like I said, since we're more limited on time today, I'm going to skip most of my stuff about this and put together like a 30-minute YouTube video about what I have learned about farm to CACFP and how you can implement it into your program. There's 3 main elements to that. We want to serve local foods. We want to do gardening or grow foods. And we also want to use food through all of our curriculum, not just at meal times, but through our curriculum throughout the day. So that gives us the three main things that we want to talk about. And we want to talk about how you're doing farm to CACFP. So I'm going to go ahead and stop there. And I'm going to click to, what was it, 102, just because of time. I know that your time is valuable, our time is valuable, and we need to make sure that we're covering the updates and the things that we need to talk about. One of the biggest things that we need to talk about is ounce equivalents. And so I want to give everybody just a second. I want everyone to take a moment and stretch. If you need to get up out of your seat and walk around for a second, get you a drink of water. And we're going to talk about a few things that we have talked about in the past when it comes to ounce equivalents. And we're here. We've talked about this for the past few years. They've pushed it, and now it's actually, that says 21, but they pushed it to 22. So now, as of October 1, 2022, all grains are now required to be listed in ounce equivalents instead of servings. This is mostly a name change. In most cases, the portion size may remain the same, and it'll be very similar to what you're already doing. But ounce equivalent calculator is now being put on the Food Buying Guide website, and let me show you that real quick. Which looks like this. So if you go to your Food Buying Guide .fns.usda.gov, there's an Exhibit A grain tool, and you can click on that tool, and that's going to help you also with those grains. And this is what the calculator looks like, and you can put in based on the nutrition facts that's right on the box. Of how many is equivalent to how many grams. And then that's going to be able to give you your ounce equivalents. So, but we're going to talk more about figuring those. Let me go back. Okay. So there is a work sheet that CACFP put out. You can click on this link to find this worksheet, but I also have hard copies of it that we can give out to you and bring to your next visit, or I can also email this to you. So if you'd like this worksheet emailed to you, I can do that. But you can also get it at Team Nutrition, meal pattern worksheets. And so we're going to kind of go through that. 1 ounce equivalent of grain is the amount of food you need to make up 16 grams of grain. So as you can see on the screen, not all crackers contain the same amount of grain per cracker. So in today's marketplace, we have big crackers and little crackers and thick crackers and thin fish-shaped crackers, bigger-shaped crackers, lots of different types of crackers. But with all of these crackers, 16 grams of grain is 1 ounce equivalent. So for example, 20 small, like Cheez-It crackers contain 16 grams of grain. So 20 small cheese crackers is equal to 1 ounce grain equivalent. 12 thin wheat crackers contain 16 grams and they're equal to 1 ounce grain equivalent. And 5 woven crackers, so that's kind of like Triscuits, I believe, provide 16 grams of grain or 1 ounce equivalent. Notice you'll need more of the smaller crackers to get the 16 grams of grain. You'll need fewer of the larger crackers. USDA has put out this great measuring chart with all of like 40 of the most common grain items, and they're listed in alphabetical order. So this is a great resource where you can just kind of pull the most common ones where you don't have to go in and use the calculator. Okay. So as an example, you can find the name of the grain item in the first column of the chart. And then each item is listed with the amount of items you need to make up a 1/2 ounce equivalent of grain, which is the minimum amount of grain required for the 1 to 5-year-olds. in the CACFP meals and snacks. And it's shown on the second column of each chart. So I'm giving y'all opportunity. I'm just taking that workbook page and just kind of breaking it down to show you what's all included. Okay. So each item is also listed with the amount you would need to make up 1 ounce equivalent, which is the minimum for your 6 to 12 years of age. If you choose to serve grains to the adult participants, we have a couple of adult participants at snack. You must serve at least 1 ounce equivalent of grain as well to those adults. And finally, each grain item in this chart is listed with the amount of the items you need to make up 2 ounce equivalents of grains. 2 ounce grain equivalent is the minimum amount of grain required for adults at breakfast, lunch, and supper. So as I mentioned, this chart has over 40 of the most common grains served in CACFP. And then if you want to serve a grain item that's not listed on this chart, you can use that tool that I was showing you on the food buying guide. This chart is designed as a grab and go so that someone could just pick it up and start using it. For those of you that might like instructions, we also included a step-by-step how to use this worksheet. So we're going to look at that really quick. You can find the directions on how to use the chart on the bottom of the first page. And to use the chart, the first step is to find the grain you want to serve under the grain items and size column. You can find directions on how to use the chart on the bottom of that first page. Let's say you want to serve popcorn at snack to 10-year-olds at your after-school program. So the first step is to find popcorn in the grain measuring chart. So we found popcorn. Step 2, after you find the item you want to serve, check and see if there's a size or a weight by the name of the grain item. Popcorn does not have a size or a weight listed by the name, so you don't need to first verify that the popcorn we want to serve weighs a certain amount or certain size. So we'll move on to the next step. And the third step is to find the column for the age of your participants and the meal or snack that you're serving. So we'll look at this. So if you want to serve popcorn to the 10-year-old at snack, you're going to look at the column that's 6 to 18 years of age and follow the column all the way down to the popcorn row. And it reads what? 3 cups. This tells you that we need to serve 3 cups of popcorn to meet the minimum amount of grain required for 6 to 18-year-olds at snack. One reason that I went ahead and showed you the popcorn is because I know there's a lot of things out there about serving popcorn to our kids in CACFP. I want you to know that it is credible, but it's not something that I recommend that you do on a regular basis. One, there's not a lot of nutrition in popcorn, and 2, you have to serve them so much. I mean, 3 cups of popcorn is a lot of popcorn for one child. Okay. Let's practice using the grain measuring charts with this question now. Okay. Take a look at the grain measuring chart in the worksheet on the screen. Let's say you want to serve oatmeal to 4-year-olds at breakfast. How many cups of cooked oatmeal do you need to serve to meet the minimum requirement amount of grain at breakfast in CACFP? Raise your hand if you think you need to serve at least 1 cup. Raise your hand if you think you should do 2 cups. Raise your hand if you think you should do 1/4 of a cup. A few more. Yeah, there we go. I see some hands. Yay. And then how many is 1/2? How many thinks 1/2? The correct answer is 1/4. Nice work. The answer is 1/4 of cooked oatmeal. You need to serve at least a 4th cup of cooked oatmeal to each 4-year-old in order to meet the minimum required amount of grain at breakfast for a 4-year-old. Remember, can you serve more? Yes, of course you can, but this is the minimum. So let's look at how we got that answer. First, we find the food we wanted to serve, which was the oatmeal. Step 2 shows us that the oatmeal does not have any weight or size, so we don't need to check the size of the oatmeal. So we're going to look at the column, and we're looking for a 4-year-old. So we'll follow the 1 to 5-year-old column down to the oatmeal row. And if you look where the 1 through 5-year-old column meets the oatmeal row, it tells us that we need to serve 1/4 of cooked oatmeal to meet the 1/2 ounce equivalent requirement for grains in breakfast for this age. Now, as we mentioned, the popcorn and the oatmeal do not have any weight or size listed next to it. However, some items on this chart have weight and size. So let's look at one of those really quick. Okay. Pretzels. These are very popular as a snack. My husband just brought me some pretzels to eat. So let's look at it. They're sometimes also called, I shouldn't be eating, I can't talk, tiny twists, and they show examples of these pretzels are shown on the screen. So when it says pretzels hard mini twist, this is what we're talking about. Just like that. So step 2 tells us that the chart listed a size by the grain item's names. Then we need to make sure that the grain item that we want to serve is the same size as what they're talking about on this grain chart. So how can you tell if the size of the pretzel you want to serve? The best way is to look at page 6 on your worksheet and look at that. So here's like a little tool that they're giving you. So you can use this to see if your pretzel is 2 by 2, you know, a square, or or if it's 1 1/4, my vision, no, 1 3/4 round, or 1 by 1 squares. Okay. So we can put it up by little measuring tool and kind of see, or you visually can see that this is the right size. So here's option 1, where you can see that like a Ritz cracker. And now we're going to look at our pretzel. See, our pretzel is 1 1/2 across, 1 1/2 tall. Now we know this pretzel measures 1 1/2 by 1 1/2. And so now we can look back at the worksheet and try this out. So take a look at the grain measuring chart. And this is a 1 1/2 by 1 1/2 inch pretzel. It's the same size or larger than the hard mini pretzels on the list. So raise your hand if you think, yes, this pretzel is the same size or larger than the pretzel listed in the grain worksheet. Oh, I can't find I'm lowering your hands. I'm lowering all of your hands. Now you can raise your hand. All right, raise your hand if you think this is the same size or larger. You're right, this is the same size. Oh, wait, raise your hand. Okay, this pretzel is not the same size or larger than it said in the chart. And then go to the next one so you can see it. Because it said 1 1/4, oh, my circle. It's 1 1/4 by 1 1/2. So this pretzel is the same size. All right, so then you can just look at your chart. So now that we can just use this chart, and our last step is to find the column for the age you're participating and look across and see how many of these twists you need to give to that age group. So if you want to serve pretzels to an 8-year-old at snack, how many mini twist hard pretzels do you need to serve to meet the minimum requirement amount of grain at snack? You'll look across, is it 7, 11, 14, or 27? All right, if you said it was 14, you were correct. Nice work, everyone. We need to serve 14 mini twist hard pretzels to meet the minimum amount of required grain for an 8-year-old at snack. Okay. And so here's how we got that answer. You look at the chart, you can see that the 6 through 18-year-olds, and then we need 14 pretzels or 22 grams of pretzels, which is also equal to 2/3 of a cup. Very good. All right, the next thing is, finally, all of these are many times you'll be able to choose this worksheet. I think that's 9 times out of 10, everything that you serve will be on that worksheet. It's a grain. But in the case that it's not listed, your item is smaller or lighter than what is listed, and you don't know the size of the item, then you can go to the foodbuyingguide.com. This is also an app that you can use, and it's under USDA, FSN, CACFP, Food Buying Guide. So they like to use all those acronyms, but Food Buying Guide is what you're looking for. So if you have not downloaded this to your app, make sure that you do that. If you have any other questions about figuring this, don't hesitate to call and ask questions, email and ask questions. We want to make sure that everyone understands how much they need to be serving using the new ounce equivalents. And a new crediting handbook just came out. It was updated, and what I will do is I will forward you a link to it. Make a note of that, Spring, if you would, because I forgot. Yeah. I meant to put a link in your email. I'm not going to print that out for everybody because it's hundreds of pages. So we will send you that link so that way you can go directly to it, and that way you can flip through it. The great thing about it is you can just look up an item. You can, is this credible? It is credible. It may be credible. It's not credible. Okay. Civil rights, remember, as participating in this federally funded program, we are required to go over the 9 areas of civil rights compliancy every year. The goal of this is equal treatment for all participants, and knowledge of your rights and responsibility, eliminates any illegal barriers, dignity and respect for all. And you know, with us, it's pretty simple. You are participating in a federal funded food program to serve nutritious meals to your children. So whatever you serve to one kid, you want to serve to all of the kids, unless you have that medical statement. They all should be treated equally. They should all be able to eat together. They should all be able to be served the same time serve the same thing at the same time, following the meal patterns that are set up by USDA. Okay. There are 9 areas of civil rights compliance. The collection and use of data, all data is confidential. Effective public notice system to inform participants to the CACFP. And the ways that y'all will do this is by putting up your Justice for All poster, putting up your Building for the Future poster, having your copies of your appeals procedure, and which will also be, I can email it to you, but it's also in your red folder that you received when we signed you up. And then I've also given copies of the red folder to Amy to bring out to you. So that way you have everything in your red folder. So my goal is that when someone comes out to review, you have everything posted that needs to be posted. All of the important documentations is in this red folder, and then all of your income forms, enrollment forms, obligation to serve infant forms are in your 3-ring binder in alphabetical order by the child's last name. Okay, so if you have all those 3 things done, then when someone comes out to review, you are ready for them. Okay. All right, so we're going to move on. If you have any questions about civil rights, if you ever have any problems and you need help going through the complaint forms, there should be a copy of the complaint form at the back of your appeals procedure that are in here. There's a form that, like a blank form that you can use to fill that out. And if you have questions about that and you need help working through that, just let us know. That's what we're here for, to help you. Okay. All right, make sure that y'all are tracking your expenses. That's another big thing about the review from the state and the federal government. Every dollar every dime, every penny that you receive from us needs to go directly back into your food program. Obviously, we want to see you spend the majority of that on food. The federal government requires that at least 50% of what you receive from us needs to go directly back to buy food, only food, nothing else. And then if you say you got $1,000 this month for food, for reimbursement, at least 50% of that, at least $500 needs to be going to actual food. The rest of the money could go to paper products, kitchen supplies. It could go to your cook's salary. It could go to capital expenses, like if you need to get a new refrigerator, freezer, air fryer, anything like that for your kitchen. You can use it for mileage to go to trainings, or to go to Sam's, to go pick up large quantities of milk, whatever. And then your indirect cost is going to be your rent and utilities. And that's very difficult to figure out. So I highly encourage that you spend all the money that you receive from us on food, paper products, kitchen supplies, salaries, and capital expenses. And don't worry about the indirect costs, but they are allowable if you get to that point. Again, your auditor or a tax person is trying to figure out where all your money is going, and you need to be able to show where every dime's going. And if they have to use those indirect costs, you can do that. So big reminders: be organized, be prepared for review at any time. Never, ever, 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 under any circumstances, take your records out of your center. Document your records every day after each meal, and maintain copies of your records and receipts for 5 years plus the year that you're working on. Okay, I got through that as quickly as I could. So if you have any nutritional questions, if you have any questions about what to serve, what not to serve, please don't hesitate to call, email me. The best way to reach me is email Nicole@ar-children.com. Now I'm going to turn it over to Nathan, my husband, and he is going to go over technology issues and things to help you to be more tech savvy. And you can switch these with me, so you'll have more room. Oh, we can't move.
Hello, everybody. The more I think about it, the longer I could talk. So I think I'm just going to give a brief overview, and that a lot of you may not even be interested in utilizing some of this stuff. So the best thing to do is just to email me if you have questions or need any help. Then I will do the best I can. I'm actually a tech coordinator by trade, so dealing with technology is what I do for fun, but is also what I do for work, and so that makes it pretty cool. There's the slide. I'm not a Zoom person though, so this is kind of new to me, and it's pretty neat. I've got Nicole pretty neat setup up here. So what we're going to try to do as an office is to get as much of our stuff online based, digital based, and try to do away with a lot of paperwork. And we could just do that on our own and not have you help with that. But I feel like if you could get some of your stuff digital as well, it's not only going to make it easier for you to submit things to us, but there's a potential that it's going to save you time, and time is definitely money. And it also keeps the things that you need to keep in a spot where you always know where they're at, whether you're actually at the center or not at the center, because we're going to be using cloud-based data storage. So, and send in your information. Please send your enrollment forms, one family per PDF or one enrollment form at a time. I've seen some of them that have come through where there's literally like 20 pages, and it's all the enrollment forms that you've gotten that week or that month. Then we have to split all those up or print them all out and then rescan them and put them in the folder. So it would really help us if you have, Sally Sue and her brother are on an enrollment form, then scan that enrollment form as one file, and then name it the child's name, just the first one or both of them would be great. Obviously we can get the other one off of it, and then you can attach all of those to the same email. But if you want to just email them one at a time, then that would be fine too. But making sure that they're just one family per enrollment form, and that with the income verification, that would help us a lot. And ultimately, the faster that we can get through your forms, the faster that we're going to be able to get the claims processed, and the faster you're going to get your money. So if you literally send, if you faxed everything in and manually checked all those things, then obviously we're going to get it done, but it's going to take more time than a center that uses the new forms that Amy came up with. That if you put your 1 and a 0 and you put your reduced check mark or your paid check mark or whatever, it's going to figure everything for you, and it takes the math out of the math mistakes out of the equation. So if you, a while ago, Nicole was talking about just using 1s and 0s. If you put like a P in there for present or whatever, then it's not going to count that. So you need to make sure that you use a 1 and a 0 if you are going to start using our forms. But it makes it so easy because it automatically does your recap sheets. It figures, everything that it needs to. And if we get those, we're going to go through those a lot quicker. And it's going to allow us to get that claim processed and move on to the next one. So make sure all your forms are PDF, including receipts. Sometimes people will send receipts as a picture, and you can take pictures of your receipts. I do that for work all the time. I take a picture of it as soon as I walk out of there, because if you leave it on your dash or you put it in the glove box, or it gets faded, especially like at my day job, I go to Home Depot like literally once a day, and if I throw that receipt on the dash and forget to take a picture of it, then by the third day you can't even read the receipt because it's completely faded out. So as soon as I get into the car, I put the receipt on the console and I take a picture of it right then.
Use the scan document on your phone.
Oh, scan document.
If you have an iPhone.
If you have an iPhone, and she may be telling me something new. I actually use an app called Scan Pro, and so what I do is I just open the app and then take that picture and then send it to my boss by PDF, that receipt. But Nicole's telling me something that I've never used before.
I know that Amy has told a lot of you about the Scan Pro, and that is great, and especially if you use one of those Android type phones. But if you have an actual iPhone, go to the notes. It's already free. It's already there. You don't have to download anything.
I don't have a receipt to try it on.
But you just open up your phone to the notes function. So you can just, I didn't even push the middle now. You're going to go to your notes, and under notes, you're going to go to the picture and take a picture, and it's going to say scan document instead of take picture or photo. So if you do it as a scan document, then it's going to be a PDF. And then all you have to do is click that arrow and send it to centers@ar-children.com, or send it to yourself so that way you can combine them all. But that way it doesn't use as much
storage on your phone, for one thing. Yeah, because I've got a whole photo album full of receipts for my boss. So actually, you can do your note folder. You can title your note folder food receipts, or you could title your note folder Sam's food receipts. You could actually go as deep as you want to keep things organized, and that's actually going to benefit even more once I get to the next part. Look at Nicole. She's gonna all day. She's gonna talk about something that she knew that I didn't. So who told you that? You found how you didn't? She didn't just figure that out. My daughter probably told her. That is really cool though, and if you actually use an iPhone, well, I'll get to that in a second. So make sure all your forms are PDF. Make sure that your files, we can go through them. I mean, it would be nice if you could name the files and the receipts, make sure that they're uploaded as PDFs, and make sure that they're legible. Some of the receipts that I look at look like, and some of those may have been faxed. Obviously, they look pretty bad when they come faxed. Try not to use a fax machine. If you only the way that you can get the information to us is a fax machine, then holler at me. Because if you got a multi-purpose, multi-function printer, I can probably walk you through how to use the scan part of that printer to get those receipts to us. And then also have a little device that I tested, and it works great. There's a couple. I like this one the best, but it's a a scanner, and it actually has a built-in battery. So once you charge it, it'll actually do, I did like 20 scans and it was still working. But you can use this to scan receipts directly to your phone. So then you can then email them out and they scan as PDF. Or you can have this hooked up to your printer and do it that way as well. But I like that the new way, Nicole, that's going to be pretty helpful too. But the faxes, they just don't come across, and especially if they're really big faxes. Let's figure out a way to send it by email. If you're faxing your claim in, then let me know. Those receipts, they just get all messed up. The next slide. Embracing technology. Okay, so this is may be of interest to you, it may not. I've gone out to visit a couple of the centers with Nicole, and I'm hope to go out and visit more, because if you have technology stuff, like I said, it's what I really like to do, and I want to help you as much as I can. It's fun for me to have technology. If you are already using Google, you may be using just like a free account, like for your personal, and that's fine. You can actually, if you don't already have an email address for your center, then you could set one up and literally call it like Miss Nicole's Pre-K at gmail.com, and they'll let you set that up for free. It'll have a little bit of cloud storage with it. You'll have an email address, and just all the neat features that Google has to it. If you run few more kids and you've got the ability that you have like a director, and you have she's reading the notes here, maybe you need more what are called aliases. And so like Nicole was telling you, our email address is archildren.com. Well, that's our domain. So your domain would be what your center is, whatever it's called. Like instead of being Miss Nicole's Pre-K at gmail.com, it would be Nicole at missnicolesprek.com. So the very last of it is called the domain. So our domain here at the office is ar-children.com, and we can create as many of those email users that we want. Nathan, Amy, Nicole, Mona, and you can do the same thing. And that's called a workspace account with Google. So if you're looking at this, they have a couple of different prices on there, and you can click on that hyperlink when you actually, if you want to download this, or you can just go to Google, just do a Google search for Google Workspace, and it'll show you what these differences are. The next slide actually has the difference in the plans. Microsoft also has pretty much the same thing, and I do like the Microsoft. We use Google currently, and we've been using it for several years, but I'm also doing Microsoft as well, because if you already pay for Word and Excel and all that kind of stuff, everything's gone to subscription. It just drives me crazy. 10 years ago, you could buy a lifetime subscription of Office, and you paid, $100 for it, and you had it forever. Well, now they make you pay for every single month. Well, if you use the Microsoft 365 for Business, it can come with the updatable version, so you stay current. Our office, I remember when I started working for my other job where I'm tech coordinator in 2015. So everybody got a lifetime Office on their computer that was 2013, because it hadn't been out that long. Well, you can't update unless you pay more money. So you're stuck with 2013 forever. So if you use this subscription, it stays updated. So you always get the most recent version of all of the Office things. And so it's pretty neat. It uses OneDrive for your cloud storage instead of the Google Drive, but you also get, like I said, a downloadable version on your computer, up to 5 devices, I think, per user. So you can put it on your laptop, you can put it on your phone, and you can run all that thing off one account. The next slide is, so here's the Google Workspace prices, and it tells you what you get for those. If you don't already have a domain, which was, like I said, the ar-children.com, then you can actually purchase those from Google as well, and it's from Google Domains, and they cost, I think, $12 a year to have just your name. You can have it whatever your center is, and then every user that you want to use, then it will cost you that per month. And then this tells you about your online storage. one of the centers that we went to, they were talking about how their computer, they were hoping nothing happens to the computer because they've got, 7 years of information on your computer. And yeah, that's something that's actually happened to us. And that was one of the reasons that we started moving to cloud storage, is because if something happens to your computer and it dies and all that information is there, then it's pretty much gone. I mean, there may be some government agents that could find it, or maybe some expensive software that you could buy. But if you just took the extra step and organized your files so that they were in the cloud, but you could still see them on your desktop, then you would never have to worry about it. If you made a change to the file, it makes a change to the cloud. So if someone needs something, you can literally pull out your phone. I can pull out my phone right now and I can see everything that's in my cloud drive as I'm looking at it here on my computer too. So it makes it really handy when you need information. The next slide is Microsoft's stuff, and it tells you all the different Microsoft services that you get with each standard user. And a terabyte is the basic of cloud storage. It doesn't really sound like a lot nowadays, but that is still quite a bit. We're slowly uploading to the cloud all of our, we have to keep 5 years of all of your information that you send to us every month, enrollments and claims. And that is 2 rooms full of file boxes from floor to ceiling. And we're trying to get through the process of getting those into the cloud so that, for one, we can use the space for something else. And 2, if you've got to pull out the June claim from 2018, then, of ABC daycare, I mean, you literally may have to get on a ladder, get a 20-pound box down, and it's just crazy. If all this stuff was in the cloud, we just literally go to that folder, we pull it out, and then if we need to print it, then we just print off the pages that we need. So it just makes it more efficient for us and then also for you. Once you've got either OneDrive installed, because you've either signed, and like I said, there are free versions of both of these for Microsoft and Google. If you use the paid or the free version, it doesn't matter. Once you get them installed and you have a Windows machine, Mac's a little bit different, but again, if you have questions about that, I can help you with that. If you're on a Windows machine and you go to your File Explorer, which is this little yellow folder that's always at the bottom of your screen, you will see the OneDrive right there in your tree. So this computer, as you see, is my computer, and it has 2 because Microsoft pretty much gives you a free one right off the bat. And but mine says Arkansas Children because that's the one that we paid for. Then if you scroll down, you can see that the Google Drive is there too. So if you click on any of those, then you can put all your files in there, and they are saved to the cloud. And it doesn't matter if your computer catches on fire or the hard drive dies or whatever happens, then everything is still there and safe. What were you?
The next slide. I was waiting.
Okay.
Okay, the next thing that Nathan was going to talk about was the step-by-steps about opening your Excel workbook. But because of our time, I talked too long, I guess. I'm going to have him put together a YouTube video on step-by-step how to use the Excel workbook. And Amy had already made a step-by-step what would you call it? Just a step-by-step on instruction sheet on how to do that. But I know sometimes people want to actually see it step-by-step instead of just reading the instructions. So if you decide to watch that video, just go ahead and have the instructions pulled up. And what we'll do is we'll make a step-by-step YouTube video on how to use your Excel workbook for those who need help with their workbook. Now, if you just have an individual question about your workbook, then email Amy at ar-children.com and she can answer just individual questions. But if you're needing help working through the whole process of how to use this and how it will benefit you as a center, then we're going to make the step-by-step video for you. And we'll share a link to that. It'll be on our YouTube channel. And hopefully within the next week or 2, we'll have that uploaded for you. But because of time, we're going to go ahead and skip the step-by-step instructions of the so he had one that was an example already kind of filled out to show you how you want to use those ones and zeros and how everything will add up to this total recap page, and then also it will put all of it, fill in it all on the claim form. The other thing was is how to be prepared for a review. I've already kind of, yes, I can send the slideshow to you. Yes, it's going to be this, what's recorded is going to be uploaded to YouTube, and then I can email my slides to everyone who's attended today.
Before she goes back into that, I just want to say that, yeah, we're going to try, one of the guys that actually works for me on the security side, he is a video production guy. So we're going to try to start to do like a little tech talk thing and do a YouTube video once a week. So if you have a suggestion that you personally would like, that we might could just do the talk this week on what you needed. And then we also just, like I said, email me, and I know a little bit about everything. I don't know everything about everything. So but we're here to help, and embracing the technology is going to help you. It's going to be more efficient. It's also going to help us and allow us to get the claims out faster. And that's basically it.
That's it. So these are the things that we're looking for at a review. And if you have any other questions about what Amy's looking for a review, you can ask her. But I've given her a red folder. If you should have received one when we signed you up in the mail that had a copy of your agreements and in it, and it had the things that need to be posted, and it had the appeals procedures. But I went ahead and put together new folders for everyone, and she has those that she's going to bring out to your next review. But if there's anything that's in there that you need now, just let me know and I can email that to you, okay? But all of the required things, they need to be posted. A temperature chart needs to be in your kitchen. Make sure your binder's available and it's all neat and organized and up to date, okay? You have your attendance and production records available for review, and all your CN labels. And if you use any recipes, make sure you have your recipes available for review, okay? These were kind of our objectives. We're going to go ahead and move on. So call, email with any questions or concerns. Here's one that you could take a screenshot of for some of you who were needing our emails. Email training checklist back as soon as possible. Okay, no later than September 16th. And I mean the 16th. I need those because I've got to upload them to the state to show that all of our centers have received their yearly annual training. Okay, so I need those checklists in as soon as possible. If you can fill those out today and get those emailed back to me, I'd really appreciate it. If you have any questions about anything on that checklist, email and ask the question. So that way I want you to be able to check mark yes on everything before you send that back to me. So watch for links to follow up YouTube videos on the things that we've talked about. Tech Talks with Nathan, nutritional videos with me. There's our email addresses. We will be offering in-house trainings on Friday afternoons as needed. So you're going to have to ask for it. We're not going to just have one here every Friday. But if you need one, Nathan's usually available on Fridays. And so on Fridays is when we're going to do those. So if you need to want to come here and we can show you in-house how to do things and work with you one-on-one. If you need us, if you don't live in Central Arkansas and you would like to schedule an over the Zoom training, which is me and Nathan, we can do that, but we would prefer Friday afternoon. Okay. And then, so there's our emails, and then our last slide. Shortly, as soon as this is over, we're going to download it and we'll upload it to our YouTube channel. So here, if you have any questions about this training, don't hesitate to contact us. And just remember, this is our your required yearly training. If there's anyone else that needs to do this training, I don't mind you showing it to them on the YouTube channel and then having them fill out the training checklist and emailing that to us, okay? But we need to have at least one training checklist per every center to stay in compliance with us. If I do not receive it by the end of September, you will be considered out of compliance with us. And then we'll have to take steps and put you under corrective action until you get trained. Okay, so I really appreciate your time. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you for taking time out of your day. I hope that this webinar has been helpful and successful for you. And I'm just going to glance up here, make sure there's not any other questions that I need to answer to everybody. I'm so sorry. Some of your phones are dying or about to die. I'm so sorry. Yeah, never been. What's your never been on it? My YouTube channel is AR-Children. And I can send you a link to that. But I try to, everything that I do is AR-children. So our YouTube channel is the same thing. If you just type in Arkansas Children YouTube, you're going to get sent to the hospital. So make sure you look for AR-Children Food Program, and you should be able to find it. But if not, I will send you the link to that. Okay. As soon as I can. So I thank y'all for being here. You may leave whenever you would like. If you need to get back, because your time is valuable. I didn't want to keep you past 2:30. So it's 2:35. So you're free to go, but I will keep it open for just a few more minutes if anybody would like to ask anything under the Q&A. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We really do appreciate all of you. And we want you to know that we want to work together. We just want to be here to serve you and to help you. So please don't hesitate to ask questions, okay? Have a great day, you too. Any questions? I got the Q&A open to see if anybody else has any questions before we end this webinar here today. And be looking for a follow-up email, probably the middle part of next week, that will have everything that we talked about today, links to the YouTube channel, links to the copies of the slides, and everything that I talked about in the training that there's a link to. I'll put that in the email so that it'll be easy for you to access. All right, I'll give you another minute. Any questions? Yes, there was a training checklist emailed to you. If you did not receive it, please let me know and I will send that to you. Thank you, thank you. If we do not have your PDR number, yes, I will need it, but you can also just include it on your training checklist. It has where you put your name, the name of your center, and your PDR number. But to get that PDR credit, I have to have that number. I can't look by your name. I can't look by the name of your center. I have to have the correct PDR number. So yes, please make sure you have that. If you do not have the training checklist, let me know your email address, or just email me, Nicole at ar-children.com, and let me know everything that you need. I can't believe, if you receive the link to this training, then you receive the checklist because it was attached to the exact same email. So you shouldn't have been able to get on here if you didn't get the email, right? Yeah. So the checklist should be attached to the email that you got for this link for the Zoom webinar.
The checklist on the agenda.
And everyone in our center, yes, we probably have your information at your PDR number if you already emailed it to us, but if you didn't already email it to us, then just make sure you fill out a training checklist and put your PDR number on that, so that way I can give you the credit. So if you're having trouble locate anything, just email me, Nicole at ar-children.com. Nicole, no H. Like I say, there's no hole in my name. Nicole at ar-children.com. All right, well, if there's no more questions, then we're going to go ahead and end this training. Oh, Mona had just sent you the link. Okay, well, make sure, Wendy, give me your email address and we will send that to you today. I can't believe there's no attachments on your emails, but if there's not, we will send it out again.
It's not an attachment, it's a hyperlink.
It's a hyperlink.
Not
Sorry, it's not an attachment, it's a hyperlink.
It should be blue.
It should be blue on your Gmail. If you're using, open it up in Gmail, it should be a blue hyperlink that will take you directly to and it's a fillable PDF. And it's 2 pages. And you just need to check mark all the things yes, and give us your name and your PDR number. Okay. Sherry, it would be Sherry Hibbs, Wendy Nichols. Who else needs it? Can you scooch over for a second? Honey? Oh, there it is. Wendy Nichols 20 at Outlook. Outmail, not Outlook. Outmail. I never heard of Outmail. All right, well, we'll get those sent to y'all. Any other problems, questions, concerns? Just let me know once you got everything written down, because if I close it.
Only one that said that.
Sherry would be Sherry Hibbs, Hibbs, and we have her email. I just emailed her yesterday, I think. So I'll look at that one. Okay, I think those are the only two just two that didn't get it. All right. Well, thank y'all again. I really appreciate it. Oh, sorry, that was Outlook. I thought Outmail was kind of like, I never heard of an Outmail. So it's Outlook, outlook.com. Thank you so much and have a great day. We appreciate you. I don't know where I go to end this. Oh, it's over here.
Oh, really?
They're PDFs.
Oh.
We
excellent.
created a PDF so that
Mhm.
everyone could
Oh, okay.
access them. Yeah, we did that last week.
Well, some email providers